I joined in Nigeria before I was invited by some professors in the United States to come for presentations. My main focus in preaching is on academia and corporate industries. So today we have the opportunity to be able to share something about Krishna. And majority of you, or you already know about Krishna, you already know about most of the leaders, but there's nothing wrong in reminding ourselves, refreshing ourselves. Like in companies, we go for refresher courses to enhance the motivation and inspiration of those involved in the process. So the reason we come together to be able to share the pastimes of Lord Krishna is that when we are together for the same purpose, especially the same devotional purpose, there is a better reinforcement for a purposeful devotional fulfillment. So, Lord Krishna made his advent over 5,000 years ago on this planet, and he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so it's not that Krishna is one of the Indian gods. No. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all of the acharyas, even the secondary creator of this universe, Lord Brahma, he recognizes Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In fact, in his prayers, the prayers we are reciting here during the before the Abhishek, the Brahma Samhita, those are the prayers of Lord Brahma, and each of those prayers he will end saying, Govindam Adipurusam Tamaham Bhajami. That he worships Govinda, the Adipurusa, the original person, the original enjoyer. And so if Lord Brahma is worshipping this Supreme Personality of Godhead, who are we? And therefore, we have to understand that the appearance of Lord Krishna is purposeful, and in a nutshell, it is an event that is basically a manifestation of triumph over evil. Because at the time, the whole world was being disturbed by people who are imbued with phenomenological mindset. We call them demons, using the harsh words of Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. So, we understand that Kamsa, we can't actually discuss anything about Krishna without Kamsa. Because Kamsa's activities were the motivations for Lord Krishna's advent. And then one of the intriguing questions that normally arises is that Kamsa, his father, was a very saintly person. And a saintly person begot a demon, someone who is completely unethical, anti-devotional culture, anti-religiosity, and very revengeful. And so, there is a basic explanation to that. And that is because Padmavati, one of the wives of Ugrasena, or someone other than Ugrasena, is the actual father of Kamsa. And this incident is documented in the Harivamsa. And so Padmavati and some other ladies, they had gone to the mountain areas to have a periscopic view of the scenario. And at that time, this personality also went there, and he couldn't resist the beauty of Padmavati. So he started to figure out. He asked the charioteer, who is this beautiful lady? And the charioteer had no answer. And he was also imbued with mystical powers, that he could meditate, he could go into deep meditation and figure out where you are coming from. Sometimes the demons also, they have this type of powers. So he was able to go into meditation, and he figured out, oh, this is the wife of Ugrasena. So he assumed the body of Ugrasena and approached Padmavati. Padmavati is the mother of Kamsa. He approached Padmavati. We're talking about why would Ugrasena, who is religiously oriented, begot a child, Kamsa. But Ugrasena was not his real father. And when this personality, he approached Padmavati, she was a little bit astonished that husband appeared there. And so they had some romantic affairs, and she became pregnant. But she was able to realize this is the power of chastity. She was very chaste, so she was able to realize at some point in time that, hey, this is not my husband. Who are you? And he introduced himself. He's Dhanava. And so he started like blaming, chastising her that you should be happy that, look, I'm a Dhanava. And I come to have an affair with you. You should be happy. So the rapes that we've been dealing with on this planet is since time immemorial. Even the Dhanavas, they've been engaged in raping women. So that was how Padmavati got impregnated with this demon. And this Dhanava told Padmavati that I've impregnated you. The child will be very, very powerful. And Padmavati caused him. Again, this is the power of the chastity of women. She caused him that my grandchild will kill this your child. See, she had a vision of the future. She is a woman, but look at the potentials that she had. She was able to understand that Lord Krishna would take birth, and she told him that my grandchild will kill this your son, and you. So then this Dhanava departed, and it came to pass, like the biblical saying. So when Kamsa was escorting or driving the chariot of his sister Devaki, when she got wedded with Vasudeva, in India till today, when girls get married, it's celebrated with pomp and splendor. So as they were going, he was driving them home, and as they were going, he had this voice from the sky that is the eighth child of this your very sister will be the cause of your demise, be the cause of your death. So immediately he was very upset, very angry, and in fact he wanted to kill Devaki on the spot. But according to the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and even in the Krishna book, summary of the 10th canto by Srila Prabhupada, the husband of Devaki, Vasudeva, had to dissuade Kamsa from killing his wife. Now, he didn't fight Kamsa. Vasudeva, someone wanted to kill your wife, and he meant it. But he used the power of dissuasion. persuasion is a big thing in management science. There are field people who specialize in their PhD in persuasion. You have your countries in a problem, go get them, and they will go to seek out for peace processes with the opposite party. So Vasudeva was imbued with that type of potential or persuasion, and he was able to persuade cancer not to kill or to dissuade cancer from killing his wife. And he did promise that, don't worry, any time my wife gives birth to any child, I'll bring it to you for you to personally kill. And he was also hesitant to accept that because it looks too obviously of a symbol of a phenomenological mindset. By phenomenological mindset, I mean a demoniac mentality. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna used very strong words, Asura Bhava. So, Vasudeva succeeded in persuading cancer, pacifying him with all types of sweet words. Now, this is a very common scenario. There was one of these kings in the Bhagavatam, I can't remember his name, but he has also the expertise of sweet words. He will use sweet words to turn gloom to happiness. So people who are trying to manage teams, people who are managing families, there is the necessity to be able to be imbued with this type of potential, because we do have some confrontations in our lives that we will face, or somebody wants to do some harm and you don't want to be very confrontational, and you have to persuade them or dissuade them from embarking on their intended project. So there's so many things in the Bhagavatam. Sometimes we read the stories as leelas, but in most cases we don't really reflect or try to derive the implications to our everyday reality. Because knowledge is about the conceptualization or the theoretical concepts, and then the commentaries come there as, contemporary subject matters. Those who are living, they have to make some commentaries on that very theme or that very theoretical concept, and then here comes the application. So the derivatives we derive, or the derivatives we have from the combination or the integration of the main theories and the contemporary commentaries of the acharyas, implementation of that in our lives is what gives rise to realizations. Otherwise, we could just repeat these pastimes. And a lot of people do a very good recitation. In India, people recite the 10th canto, the leelas of Krishna with the gopis. And then immediately they leave the podium, you see them smoking. Some of them, not everyone. So I will refer to those situations as the reciters as parrotologists. Parrots also, they're very expert in reciting something. If you teach a parrot to repeat something, they will repeat it perfectly well. They have that skill, that talent the parrots have. So we humans, we are not supposed to be parrot. We have to gain something from knowledge. From the leelas we read, we need to understand. The leelas we hear, we have to ask ourselves, what do I go home with this? What do I go home from? From this story, what is it that I'm going to be able to derive and be able to implement, apply in my life for a positive spiritual transformation? And so, having settled a cancer about the later the transparencies after any child is given birth to, or whenever his wife gives birth to a child, cancer was pacified, that was settled. Now, when the eighth child, the so-called eighth child, was born, it was a woman. And not the man that the heavenly voice predicted. So cancer has gone there to personally kill the child. And when he picked up this child, tried to dash it on a stone, the child slipped off from his hands and turned to Durga and warned him that the child that is going to kill you has already taken bed somewhere else. That could be very frightening. You're trying to avoid something, and it's like you're meeting a Waterloo. You definitely will receive it, because now you are at a crossroad. You don't know what to do. What Cancer resorted to was to send his allies to start killing all newborn babies. That was the atrocity that this very incident triggered. It looks like a simple thing. Durga just announced that, look, the person who is going to kill you is not me. It's already somewhere else. Now, we understand that when Krishna's parents were in prison, why were they in prison? Because Kamsa wanted to secure his life. He wanted to make sure that when the eighth child is born, he was able to annihilate that eighth child. In fact, even the previous children, he killed them. But for the eighth child, no, something was missing there. And if we go into the background, Krishna first appeared in a gigantic form. It's described in the summary works of Prabhupada on the 10th canto. Krishna appeared first in a gigantic form. In other words, Krishna did not come through seminal discharge. He manifested. So sometimes people come and they read the stories, and then they see, oh, Krishna, this year Krishna, I saw he's playing with girls. Even in the dead of night, he's playing with girls. How could he be God? Yes, he is God. And even those girls are his devotees. God can do anything. So, when Krishna manifested in the prison, all of the gods, they were asleep. And Mother Yashoda and the husband, they solicited that he turn to a baby. And he did turn to a baby. He also appeared gigantic form, Vishnu form, 4 hands. And then Krishna ordered, when he turned the baby, he ordered that Vasudeva should take him to Vrindavan. And that is how Vasudeva took Krishna, baby Krishna, by then, all of the chakras, they were in shackles. But with the Almighty Krishna appearing, all the shackles we are losing. Krishna can do anything. The point is that if we do have firm faith in Krishna, he can do anything. So, when Krishna was taken to Vrindavan, that was where he actually stayed and was fostered by Nanda Maharaj and Devaki. And Mother Yashoda. Now, before the advent of Lord Krishna, before the birth of Krishna, Yogamaya had transferred the 7th pregnancy of Devaki On the order of Lord Krishna, Yogamaya had transferred the pregnancy, the fetus of Devaki from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini in Vrindavan. And some places it's mentioned that Nanda and Vasudeva are stepbrothers. I don't know what that means. But essentially, the point that Rohini gave birth to Balaram, advance of Krishna's coming. I mean, it's like a governor or say the chancellor of Germany wants to travel to some place. His retinue, some people have to go ahead to be able to figure out, to investigate, to see how safe the environment is. Even in ordinary dealings, that's how it works. If the president of a country is going to some state or going to another country, you know, in America, the FBI will go ahead and, you know, check, investigate everything, check things, if everything is in order. So Balaram came to clear the way for Krishna's advent, and he took the role of a senior brother for some reason, because in some of the prior incarnations, like in the Ram Leela, Balaram took the position of a younger brother, Lakshman. And he actually passed through so much of challenges, especially when Ram, was about, was chasing after the deer that came to play some pranks. And then he was there to protect Sita. And then there were a lot of exchanges, unpleasant exchanges, unpalatable exchanges that ensued, that Balaram felt that, no, any next incarnation, no. I have to be a senior brother, so that I don't get control like this. I don't get blamed like this. Yeah, because some blames were leveled on him and some accusations even were leveled on him by Sita. Or you don't want to go after Ram, you want him to die so that you can enjoy me. So these things are like a pinprick. So anyway, Balaram appeared before Lord Krishna's advent. And so traditionally, and this is the common question I ask anywhere I go, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why would they need a brother to come with him? For what? They would just come alone. Nobody can do him anything. But he wanted a brother and sister, Subhadra, Balaram. Yet, some of us used to have a single child. We see in our own scriptures, even the Supreme Lord, when it does come, it does not come alone. He has siblings. There are a number of sociological and cognitive reasons for the socialization of children in the home. And sometimes people get married, they don't understand anything about psychology, they just see somebody had a single child, and then they say, oh, I need to have a single child so that I can be still very young when even I'm aging. But no, the very culture shows how to be able to create a viable family that is rooted in child development. The child needs some siblings to be able to socialize with for better cognitive development and social skills. So Lord Krishna also came with his own brother and sister. When he advented as Lord Krishna, yeah. In fact, when the Lord came as Lord Ram, there are multiple borders. So the point is, sometimes we wouldn't care less to try to figure out why the Lord does what he does and how he does what he does. And then, basically, we become like paratologists. We just repeat this stuff and we may not understand. Yes, we do get purified by reciting the leelas. Why not? But we should also be introspective to understand why this has to happen. Why does that happen? And if we don't know, we could investigate. We could find out from other senior people who are inquisitive minds. And so, Lord Krishna was taken to Vrindavan, where he was fostered by Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda. Now there are some of our acharyas, like Sanatan Vishnu Chakravarti, who also mentioned that at the time Krishna was born, Krishna made his appearance in Mathura, in the prison of Kansa. Mother Yashoda actually gave birth to a male child, and then seconded by a female child. So when Vasudeva came with Krishna in his basket, crossing through the Jamuna, the mystery of the Lord is so amazing. When he was to cross the Jamuna opened up for him. Jamuna River. How many of you have seen the Jamuna River? Oh, very good. See, that Jamuna River opened up for Vasudeva to pass. And that's not the first time that Jamuna opened up for Krishna or Krishna's devotee. There was another scenario, there was another incident when the gopis headed by Radharani were to cross over to the other side to meet this saint Durvasa Muni because they wanted to perform some charity to Durvasa Muni to feed him. And so Krishna had suggested that they go feed Durvasa Muni. So they asked that, Jamuna is there, how are we going to cross? Or the Krishna said, when you go to the Jamuna, just recite this mantra. Krishna is a brahmachari. And the Jamuna will open up. And the Jamuna will open up for you. So when, you see, they know, I mean, Krishna plays with them all along, and then for Krishna to tell them, recite this mantra, Krishna is a brahmachari. What? What is this? So, I'm just mentioning this to support the idea that the Jamuna is not the first time that he opened up for the devotees of Lord Krishna. So, again, the point is that if we are really sincere devotees, we are endeavoring for the fulfillment of Lord Krishna's desires, Krishna can do anything. Krishna is the best of magicians. He is the best of the mystics. He is the Yogeshwara. He can do anything for you. Oh yeah. So, some of the acharyas, back to the point, they mentioned that by the time Krishna appeared in the prison, Yashoda also had given birth to Krishna there. But then the difference is that Krishna, who appeared in Mathura, that was taken to Vrindavan, he appeared in a Vishnu form, 400. And the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam also in the commentaries, so this very citation is there. So these commentators, the acharyas, Vishnu Chakravarti, Sanatan, they mentioned that when Vasudeva brought Yadukumar Krishna to Vrindavan, and then brought, he didn't see Nandanandan Krishna. He saw the girl. So he exchanged with the girl. So it is mentioned by these acharyas that this Yadunandan, Kubara Krishna, emerged into Nandanandan Krishna. So this is a little bit mystical, but this is a reality that Krishna can do anything. He satisfies this devotee and satisfies that devotee. So, what is interesting to us today is that he had appeared to be able to create a viable future for the devotees of the Lord. He mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita to annihilate the demons and give pleasure to the devotees. Krishna's appearance is about a triumphant entry, a triumphant scenario, triumph of good over evil. So we may have so much of load of challenges. Today is the best day. Krishna came all the way, very far away from the spiritual world. Maharaja, you know the distance from the spiritual world to the earth planet? What is it?
Krishna is nothing.
Who knows the distance from the spiritual world to but materially speaking, very far away, okay? But he came to check on us, how we are doing. We are getting some problems with some demons. So he came, he came to rectify the situation. This is love. Love means if someone cares for you, when you are experiencing some challenges, they came forward to stand for you. This is Krishna. That's why he came. The earth was burdened with challenges from the demoniac forces. So, he stayed in the home of Nanda and Yasoda, and in 3 months' time, just in 3 months, he started his operation. Huh? What is his operation? Operation wipe out the demoniac forces. 3 months' time, he started his operation. He killed Putana when he was 3 months old. Baby 3 months old, what do they know? Nothing. Just to suck mother's breast, that's it. So Putana had come in, and all of the Brajabasis in the compound, they were wondering, and she assumed a very beautiful form, very attractive, beautiful form. So people were thinking she was from the heavenly planets. This is the power, the demons also, they have the power to transform, to change their bodies, different bodies. But then, essentially, Putana was killed. She wanted to feed Krishna with poison to kill him, but then Krishna ended up, sucking out the poison and his life air, and her life air. But see the difference between Krishna's killing and the mundane homicides that go on. The homicides that go on the planet for no purpose, no one benefits from it. And when Krishna even killed Putana, this was an enemy, and she had come to kill him. If an enemy comes to kill, it's described as an aggressor. Yes, we practice non-violence, but for an aggressor, you can kill an aggressor. So, we can argue that Krishna killed Putana because for self-defense. for self-defense. So, it didn't end there. He gave Putana liberation, like that of a mother. So when we fight with somebody, we want to just Finish them up and let them not be known in the history of the world. We finish them up, and there is no beneficial derivation thereafter on either side. You kill, you get the reactions, and then the other soul is also like condemned. But Krishna's killing is not like that. He killed Putana, the false demon who tried to kill him, and awarded Putana liberation like he did for his mother. This is God. He's all compassionate. He has equal vision. He treats people equally. There may be apparent enemies, but even his so-called apparent enemy, he rectifies them. He purifies them. He sends them back home, back to Godhead. In this war, when somebody is killed, nothing. The disease does not gain anything. It's just their karma. They have to carry to the next life. With Krishna, killing somebody, awards them liberation. This is Krishna. This is God. This is how he displays his mercy. And so Krishna performed a lot of wonderful pastimes. The pastimes are basically divided into three segments. The Kumara stage, Poganga, and the Kishore stage. But in all of these stages of his life, the Kumara is the early stage, 1 to 5 years old. You can't imagine a child 1 to 5 years old. They are like babies. They don't, in fact, in Indian psychology, a child 1 to 5 years old, you don't do anything. Even they mess up, you don't do anything. You don't do anything. Of course, in American psychology, it's a different thing. So then a baby is considered like they don't know anything. So Krishna's killing of Putana is not premeditated. If you kill someone and the court proves that it was premeditated, you get, if it is countries where death sentence is allowed, you get death sentence. But Krishna just automatically, he killed Putana, and he awarded Putana the liberation that he awarded to his own mother. This is the difference between Krishna and us. Someone does something silly to us, we want to see that they are crushed for the rest of their life. They are crushed for the rest of their life. They should never see the sky. For Krishna, it's not like that. And so, the pastimes of Krishna are very amazing. In his child pastime, he was acting like a thief. But what would God steal from anybody? He owns everything. He owns everything. And so why will he steal from anybody? But, like people are on a stage, like people who study theater arts, they go on stage and they assume different positions, different personalities. They act in different ways. So Krishna's appearance is like, we call it lila, pastime. So in contemporary language, it's like a theatrical performance. He comes on stage, he acts in certain ways, but then the supremacy of the Supreme Lord is still very inherent in him. Whether he's a 3 months old baby, 6 months old, the same potency is there. It doesn't change. His body may change, but the same potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is there. And so, we can reflect on this. These are part of his early leaders. Stealing was part of his hobby. And, I was telling this story in Simhasalam, how neighbors, they come to complain to Yasoda how her son is going to their homes to steal milk products. And Yasoda would always defend her son, They have everything. How can her son go to steal milk products from the neighbors? It's impossible. No, my child will never do that. So one day, Nanda's brother's wife, Upananda's wife, she caught Krishna coming to steal butter. And she caught him. She said, hey, today you're going with me to meet your mother. Mother always defends you. So Krishna begged. No. Upananda's wife did not budge. So, in order to protect him a little from public disgrace, she covered him with her sari, covered his hair with her sari. So they went to him Mother Yasoda's place. Hey, Yasoda Mata, I'm here, your boy. I caught him. He was stealing in my house. He's here. So Mother Yasoda came out. I said, Ajahn, you did this? Where is he? Where is this rascal? Where is he? And so he said he's here. She said he's here. So she opened the veil, and Krishna has turned to Upananda. Yeah, the Upananda's wife was surprised. So then, Mother Yasoda said, that's your husband. That's not my child. So she was really shocked. And she went back with Krishna very shamefully. And so as they were going, Krishna changed again to original Krishna and told her, look, I begged you to leave me alone, you refuse. Stubbornness. So, if we are not able to listen to the plea of somebody, we could have as well be overreactive, and there are repercussions for overreactions. So Upananda's wife was overreactive, because if a child does something silly, if the child begs you, you should forgive the child. And some of the parents are also like that. If the child does something silly, they don't have the patience. Even some of the devotees, they forget. Krishna says, Tam titikshasva bharata. If your child does something silly, the first principle you have to imbibe and apply in your life at that point in time is Krishna's very statement. Tam titikshasva bharata. Tolerate. First, tolerate your anger. When you conquer yourself, when your temper has come down, then you can address that issue in a very loving and peaceful way later. So there are a lot of implications of Krishna's Lila that we can really apply in our own lives and, create sustainability and not just spiritual survival, but spiritual acceleration. Because one of the major things that confronts humanity today is a lack of sense of forgiveness. Even our own children, they do something, we want to just write them off. But then we fail the test. Your child does something funny and you cannot tolerate. You have failed the test of Krishna's litmus test. He said, tolerate. So you tolerate your child first. But Upananda's wife was not able to tolerate. Krishna begged. He said, no. You must be disgraced. You must be taken to your mother. All right. Thank you for coming. We give the mic to Maharaj to help us with.
Thank you. Ma Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pristaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta, Swaminiti Namani. Namaste, Saraswati Devi, Gauravani, Pracharane, Nirvishesha, Srinivadi, Paschatya Desacharane, Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo. We need the blessing of all the devotees so that we can say something that might inspire you to want to serve Krishna, hear more about Krishna. We have many books in the next room over there. Srila Prabhupada has given us complete knowledge of Krishna in so many different ways. So we're hoping everybody will, if you have the book already, take some more and give them for your friends or your enemies. And if you don't have it, like one man told me, I have 3 Gitas. If you have this one, no, I don't need it. I have 3. Do you read it? I read it as a child. You know, I don't need it, but he really didn't want it. We all need it, but we don't understand. We don't need anything else except Krishna. So anyway, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's the origin of everything, Govindam Adi Purusham. So it's very hard for normal people to understand, materialistic people. How can he be even Lord Brahma, he knew Vishnu, 4 arms, but he couldn't understand how this little boy, like this big, could be that. So he was testing him. Indra also couldn't understand. He worshipped Vishnu, but he couldn't understand how this little boy is Vishnu until after Krishna showed his power. So Krishna, he's the origin. He's not, there are many avatars. And the dictionary will say that Krishna is an avatar of Vishnu. But he's the source of all the other avatars. There's unlimited avatars. We only hear about the main ones, the Das avatar, maybe 20 avatars, you know, Vamandev and Nrsimha, Matsya and Kurma. Everybody hears about them, Ramachandra, Buddha, right? But Krishna is the source. And Krishna only comes to earth once in a day of Brahma. Anybody know how much a day of Brahma is? Anybody know? Even if you knew, you couldn't really calculate. There's 4 ages. There's Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. That's 1 age cycle. And that's many millions of years. Lord Brahma is 1 day, 12 hours day, is 1,000 of those cycles. And the night is another 1,000. So Krishna comes only once in a day of Brahma. The lifetime of Brahma is a lifetime of the universe. So, and Krishna came only 5,000 years ago. So we're in a very special, place. Because otherwise, many people, even sages, they wouldn't even know about Krishna. But he came and he exhibited, why did he come? Unlimited reasons. Yada yada dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. When there's a decline in religious activities and an increase in irreligious, I come, Krishna says. So we might say, why doesn't he come now? It's a very irreligious time. But the problem is, people are so much in the mode of ignorance that according to Krishna, they think irreligion is religion. and religion is irreligion. So they're thinking everything's good. And then many people say, I'm here now, I am Krishna. And many people fall for it because they don't know who is Krishna. But he was thinking, I haven't come for a long time, and nobody has seen my activities and pastimes, so he came. But also the earth, like he said, was overburdened with demoniac forces, and Mother Earth was distressed, painful for her, have all these demons blowing her up all the time, you know. So she went and begged Krishna to come. That's another reason he came. There's a long list of reasons. Queen Kunti gives a long list. Some people say for this, some people say for that. They're all true. But ultimately he came so that we could know about him. And it's only 5,000 years. So the history's there. Srimad Bhagavatam, many books, many stories, many temples. If we go to India, we can find places of Krishna's pastimes. They're known. They were forgotten, but Lord Chaitanya revived it for us only 500 years ago. So his birth was, Krishna says, Janma Karma. Everybody knows that one? Janma Karma. Let's try it. Janma Karma. Everybody. Chame Divyam. Then? Yome Bhakta. No, what is it? Huh? Huh? Yeah, Yome Veti Tattvataha. Taktva Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mameti Savarjuna. When one knows the transcendental divya nature of my birth and activities, then he doesn't have to take birth again. He's liberated. So nobody can know everything about Krishna. Some people claim I know everything, many people. I know, I took a course in the university on Hinduism. I know all about them. People that really studied about Krishna, they'll say, I don't know anything. The more you find out, the more we realize how much you don't know. Even Lord Brahma, he said, I don't know. And he's the most intelligent man in the universe. So he came to let it show. So he didn't exactly take birth. He appears. He's already everywhere. But it appeared like Mother Devaki was pregnant. But nobody was around when he appeared. By his arrangement, everyone in Mathura fell asleep, except Devaki and Vasudeva. And he appeared as Vishnu, Narayan, 4 arms, full armor, dress, everything like you see Narayan. Not as a baby. So much so that Devaki, and they forgot this is our child. They started, honoring him. And finally they said no, and said, please, become small. Devaki thought Kamsa's going to kill him, but if he becomes a small baby, I can hide him somewhere, and then you won't find him. But then as soon as he became small, and Devaki got to hold him for a few minutes, he said, now you have to take me to Vrindavan. So they did that. And they had to cross the Jamuna, like he said, and it was a huge storm. But the Jamuna, somehow Vasudeva could carry Krishna, the rain, but the Sheshanaga was covering. But at one point he dropped Krishna into the water. A big wave came and knocked him out of his father's hand. He panicked. But then he came floating back up, because Jamuna just wanted to hold Krishna. Everybody wanted to hold Krishna, everyone who ever saw him. all the young girls of Vrindavan, as soon as they all wanted to marry Krishna, first thing they ever thought of. They saw Krishna and they all wanted to marry him. And girls want to marry, you know. So they never thought of any other man, even though they got married later. So then he was in Vrindavan, and he was Gopal Krishna, two-armed. That's the original Govindam, Adi Purusham. Govinda is the original person from whom all the other incarnations come. Sometimes 4 arms, sometimes 8 arms, sometimes a fish, sometimes a tortoise, sometimes half man, half lion, sometimes a man like Ramachandra. It's all Krishna in different moods to satisfy the desires of different devotees. So when Mother Yasoda woke up in the morning and she found this, didn't remember she gave birth in the night, and she was very old. They were not really expecting to have a child. And Nanda was lamenting that he never had a son. Sometimes couples come to me and say, please bless us. We've been married for 4 years and we don't have a child yet. Give me the sweet rice. I said, I don't have that power, but Nanda and Yasoda were very old. They had to wait a long time. And Dasarat, the father of Ram, how long did he wait? Anybody know? Who knows? 60,000 years. He had many, many wives. Not only those 3 wives, those were the main ones. No children. Finally he remembered, he had some curse, and then he was told how to get a yagya, and so but he got very good children. Ram and Lakshman, Shatrughna, so be patient. We're trying to preach, not so many people come, but keep trying. Everybody will come. Everybody's looking for Krishna. So they were just overwhelmed by the beauty of Krishna. There's a whole list of comparing the, how he looked. Compared, it looks like this, it looks like lotus flowers, looks the color of so many things. The beauty of Krishna is the most, he has 6 opulences in full. We all admire a very rich person, right? They get on the cover of magazines. Nobody cares how they got rich. Then, but he owns everything. The rich person is a very temporary proprietor of whatever he has. He's the most powerful. They admire very powerful men or women nowadays. Like, notice the Indian women are becoming famous athletes now. So, one got a gold medal in the Olympics. Anybody see that? Not exactly what you consider the typical Vedic woman. Anybody know what she won in? Huh? Boxing. She's a world champion, Olympic champion. So times are changing. But there were great warrior queens always in the history of India. Just not the majority of them. But then if someone's very learned, very famous, or very renounced, but Krishna is unlimited in all those things. So people can't understand how they think unlimited must be something that you can't see or perceive or know, but how can this person be unlimited? I was trying to distribute books in Tel Aviv some years ago. It's Israel. You heard of it? So one guy, he's got the hat and everything. He grabbed it. I had the Krishna book. He grabbed it and he was looking through it. He found a picture of Krishna. See, he's a man. Can't be God. The man. Finished. Get out of here. Leave me alone. But why not? See, he's an unlimited person. And everything comes from people. Every construction, every work of art, comes from another person. It doesn't come out of nothing. We don't want nothing. Everybody wants loving exchanges. So Krishna exhibited the most intense loving exchanges, starting with his, especially Devaki and Vasudeva, very quick. They did great tapasya to get Krishna as their child, but they got only for a few minutes. Then, but Nanda and Yasoda are the eternal parents of Krishna. And the loving exchanges between Yasoda and Krishna are so wonderful. And there's so many pastimes. And her attachment, her love. And people want peace of mind. Yasoda, she didn't have peace of mind. Because mother's always worried about their child. But that increases their love. But most mothers don't have a child where big demons are coming every day trying to kill their child. And she was, always in anxiety that he would run. Like when she tied him up for the Damodar, it was because she was afraid, he's a naughty boy, he was going to run away to the forest and then there'd be trouble in the forest, danger. In those days there was real jungle, even Vrindavan, tigers and wild animals. So she was trying to protect him, but he took it as he didn't appreciate that. But another Leela. So many like that, and with his father also, and then with his friends, and with all the other adults. Like we talk about the gopis, Mother Yasoda was also gopi, and all the older ladies are gopis, they're all cowherd women. So those was his first pastimes with the old gopis. And they were all like his mother. In the village, there's many mothers, nursing mothers, everybody shares. So the babies grow up very, sociable type people. And so he had, stealing butter from their houses, yogurt, and just, making trouble. And they could never catch him, and he'd always get out of it somehow or other. And one of the gopis did catch him. Now I got you, she said. And she took Krishna by the hand and was taking him to Mother Yasoda to tell her, your son is stealing the butter from my house. And she pushed the boy forward, but it was her son. It wasn't Krishna. He's very tricky. And so one time Mother Yasoda said, okay, I'll punish him. And then they said, no, don't punish him. Krishna just did that so they could talk about him. So they're churning butter, and they didn't have an electric churning machine, and they're pulling the ropes. And they would just sing songs about Krishna, like we have some bhajans. And they would just talk about how, especially stealing butter. And people can't understand. I was in Ahmedabad one time, you know that, in Gujarat. And somehow we had a meeting with some Christian Ahmedabad, people. But they were Gujarati Christians. And they actually said, how can you think Krishna is God? He stole butter, he's a thief. Because they hear that song all the time, Bakan Chor Makan. If you go around Govardhan Hill at night, full moon night, you'll hear it everywhere, Makan Chor, Makan Chor, Makan. It's everybody's favorite, Krishna. People like that. Like when I was young, we had a cat in the house. And the cat's very clever. So the butter was on the table and with a little cover on it. But the cat would get up there and knock the cover off and eat the butter. My mother thought it was so cute. It's a smart cat, you know. So everybody really thought Krishna is so clever, he's so cute. They loved it. So they thought he's a thief. How can you worship a thief? And he danced with other men's wives. That's sinful. He killed his uncles. His uncle. He didn't kill all the uncles, only Kamsa. Balaram killed the other ones. Because Krishna didn't want to kill his uncles, but Kamsa, that was his special duty. He had killed Kamsa in the previous life also, as Vishnu. So he took birth again by trickery to try to kill Krishna. But he was so afraid to try it, he didn't ever try it himself, even though he's the most powerful demon. Then he had exchanges with his friends, the boyfriends. And there were many different types of boyfriends. It's very scientific. Please read the Nectar Devotion. They all have different names, how intimate they were. Some are servants. There's Raktak, and then there's Priyanarma, and there's Sudama, and Subal, and Sridham. Very close friends. He wrestled with them. They would steal his lunch. When his mother called him home, they'd say, if you go home now, we won't play with you tomorrow. You know, so he didn't want to go home. You know, don't be controlled by your mother, they would say. So, you know, he had many different, and they're all just charming. And then the young girls, the gopis, when she joked with them, he's expert at joking with his friends and joking with the gopis. He's also dancing with the gopis. But Krishna is the real husband of everyone. So there's no sin. Besides that, he was 6 years old. He was brahmachari. The gopis thought, how can you say Krishna's a brahmachari? He's chasing all the girls all the time. But when he said Krishna's a brahmachari, did the Jamuna open up or just become harder? Somehow they crossed over. They had to get back, and then Durvasa Muni gave them something to say also. So we're very fortunate, and we want to hear about Krishna, and we can hear even the Goswamis. They write books where they just list off all these different pastimes. And it's charming. It's relishable. Arjuna said, tell me again and again and again, because we never get tired of hearing your glories. And the sages at Naimisharanya said that also. So that's a test. Now all these pastimes, Prabhupada said, like killing all the demons. There's another rasa with the demons, because he's liberating them. Many of those big demons we hear about, Aghasura, Aristasura, you know, they were actually like demigods, and they were cursed to become serpents and, you know, demons. But they got a relief that after thousands of years, they would get killed by Krishna and get liberated. So it's actually a blessing. So he was benedicting the demons, had a relationship with them. Kamsa constantly thought about Krishna, trying to kill him. And he got more and more and more fearful. Just went completely insane towards the end. And when he tried to fight Krishna, he didn't have a chance. Even though he had defeated Indra. He was friends of all the biggest demons in the universe. And they were all afraid of him, so they became partners. You know, because demons fight each other also. But like if one is very powerful, then want to become his friend, you know. So they all became Kamsa's friends. So Krishna is called Kamsi Nasudana. He has many different names, all about the different pastimes. Radha Kanta, Radha Raman, you know, Kamsa, Hatta, Pralambas, Ha, killed Pralamba, Keshi Ha, he killed the Keshi demon, you know. He gets names: Yasoda Nandana, Devaki Nandana, Nanda Nandana, the great pleasure of Yasoda, the great pleasure of Nanda. And he was the great pleasure. We sing that song, Jai Radha Madhava, Kunja Vihari. Radha Madhava is the husband of the goddess of fortune, but he's in the forest with Radharani. Gopi Jana Balava, Giri Varadari. The gopis, he gave the gopis special happiness when he was picking up Govardhan Hill. That's a favorite pastime practically. And the gopis loved it. That's why they got, because they could stand right next to Krishna for 7 days and nights, talk about him, and he couldn't move. So he had to hold up the hill. Normally they couldn't talk about Krishna in front of their family. They couldn't be close to him except sneaking around. So they were especially happy. And yet then Yashoda Nandana, Brajajana, he's the darling of Mother Yasoda and the joy of all the residents of Vrindavan. Brajajana, what is it? Ranjana. And sometimes it says Gopi Jana Ranjana. But that's the whole spiritual world is in that one little song. Jamuna Tiravanachari. And he's playing on the banks of the Jamuna. If we go to Vrindavan now and see the Jamuna, we don't see the banks, how can anybody play there? It's all a mess, But if you go outside a little bit, the other parts of Braj, then there's big sandy banks, it's very nice. And it's a very big river, some places really, really wide. I swam across one time, and I thought I was swimming really fast. And I thought I could hold my head up, but the wave took my sunglasses. But there was a little dog, he was following our Purkama, and the dog beat me. You wouldn't think they'd be very good swimmers, but there's a movie of it, this dog beating. But it's a very big river, it gets wider other places also. It's coming from very far in the Himalaya, coming from Goloka, Vrindavan. So for Krishna, Goloka is very close. But for us, it's beyond the material universe and all the universes. But there's no distance for Krishna. Krishna could travel from Nandagram to Govardhan every day, but it's 6 kilometers. And he could go there and come back as a small boy. So how do you do that? Because Vrindavan's a lotus and it's Balaram, so he could shrink it down. So it's really close and then get big again. For Krishna, there's no consideration. He's a Yogeshwar. Nothing is beyond him. He can't be tricked by any illusion of anyone else. But he can put us in illusion. He can put the demons. They read Bhagavad Gita, but they don't see Krishna. The test of a devotee or a demon is if you believe these pastimes. Anybody believe that Krishna really lifted Govardhan Hill? You believe that? That means you're a devotee? At one time I was going around and we were supposed to go in the university and give some classes. And I was a very new devotee. So all I knew is the Krishna book. I didn't know, tactics or anything. So the only class that would engage us was mythology. Because they think that all the Krishna stories is mythology. So I told some Krishna stories, and the teacher said, "Do you believe that?" And I said, "Yeah." He went, "Oh, poor guy, He's really brainwashed." That's what they think, They've just destroyed your intelligence. But devotees know that's nothing for Krishna. He's floating millions of planets and billions of universes. So what's one little mountain? But it became so big that under Govardhan, all the Brijbasis and all the cows and everybody could go. And it was like a heavenly planet. So we are very fortunate, and I'm requesting everybody, if you have these books, buy some more. Today they're on sale for donation basis, special day. Get the whole Srimad Bhagavatam set, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna came, Lord Chaitanya is exactly the same as Krishna. He looks different, but there's no difference. He's also the source of all the avatars. And read, because you can read again and again and again. The more we read it, the better it gets. And the more you learn, more things pop up that maybe because of our bad memory, but also because Krishna reveals more and more. It's on every verse in the Bhagavad Gita is unlimited. The more you read it, the more it'll open up, and the more you'll understand something about Krishna. The more we can understand that he's inconceivable. The scientists will say, you just say that he's inconceivable because you can't define him. But that's because we do know Krishna, he's inconceivable. They don't believe in inconceivable. So they just say there's no such thing, somebody just made it up. Because there can't be a person that great, that beautiful, but just go look at Krishna, He is that beautiful. And the more we look at the deity, the more we chant the holy name, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The more we chant, and the more something comes from it. Krishna is dancing on your tongue. It's very merciful. It's a special mercy that he lets us chant his holy name, because we rejected the spiritual world. We left. We rejected the form, but the name is more merciful. And the more you chant the name, the more we can actually see the form of Krishna and see the pastimes of Krishna. Many of you have been to Vrindavan, I saw when he asked. And the more we can find more and more places of Krishna's pastime and actually see them. So thank you very much. I don't know exactly what's going on. Krishna appeared at the midnight, And tomorrow is the appearance day of our Guru Maharaja, Sri Bhakti Vasudeva Swami Prabhupada, which is actually for most of us more important, because otherwise we wouldn't know about Janmashtami. Even the Indians, about Janmashtami, and we see many come today. They just go up the stairs and around and leave. Because you do that on Janmashtami, you go to the temple. So they don't really know about Krishna. Mostly, nobody knows about Krishna except by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So his appearance came like almost at the same time, during the Janmashtami night. And the whole family was celebrating Janmashtami. Prabhupada took birth. 1896. And it was predicted, by the astrologer. He went all over the world, starting at age 70, across the ocean by ship. It wasn't a big ship even like these big cruise ships. It was Malati Maharaji, she saw that boat. She went to the place and saw the Jaladuta. She said she would have never gone on the ocean. It's too small. Very small freight boat. And it was bouncing like anything. And normally at that time of year, the waves in the Atlantic Ocean are like 10 meters. And they just wash those ships over. And the ships, they won't tip over, but almost. But because Prabhupada was on it, Krishna changed. The ocean was peaceful. just in the beginning was rough. And he crossed the Atlantic. And the captain's wife asked Prabhupada to go back with them because they never had such a smooth ride. And they were devotees, so they understood the power of the saintly person. But Prabhupada stayed. So we also have all the books about his life. But please come tomorrow to hear more about the activities of Prabhupada, which are in some ways easier to believe than, but when you really dig into it, it's totally miraculous what he did. Nobody can ever think of even doing it again. But at least he was in New York City, he was in London, he was in Bombay, Delhi, So you can kind of understand. It wasn't some big, gigantic stork, that's trying to eat Krishna, or a snake so big that the boys could just walk in his mouth, But that really happened. So these are true stories. And Krishna is the real Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he's there for us. So take advantage, whatever level you can, chant the holy name, pray, take prasadam, get some books, give a little donation, dance in the kirtan. We had a very great kirtan earlier. We were all very fortunate. It was just like Indra Swami reincarnated into the room, right? So, thank you very much. Krishna Janmashtami ki jai. We say Janma, but it wasn't Janma. It was a period. And he comes again and again and again. And he's in every universe. Traveling drama festival. Okay? So who's in charge here? What's next? Thank you all for coming. We hope more and more will come in due course of time. I'm going to take your time too much. I'm around if anybody wants to ask me any questions or correct, my pride. All right? Krishna ki jai. All right? How do you say that? All glories to assembled devotees in German? In Deutsch? Somebody can say.
Was?
Sprechen Sie Deutsch? No?
Alle Ehre zu den versammelten Gottgeweihten.
I can say in Japanese. How about French? Tot cual devotos unidos. In Spanish. Todos los gloriosos devotos unidos. That's all I know. Okay.
His Holiness Kavicandra Maharaj ki Jai. His Holiness Bhakti Vasudeva Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you, Maharaj.